So we've got your main menu. So the first thing you're going to do is choose Princess Cruises. Don't forget, if you are on any of the other two, you're not going to bring any Princess Cruises back as your results. And then you've got a few different options here, but today we are going to look at the create booking. As you know, we are going to go and look at a booking with flights. So on your initial search page, sorry for those of you that use Polar a lot, I don't want to teach you how to suck eggs, but for those that have never used it before or are fairly new to cruise, at the top here, please remember to search by your guest's member number or their telephone number and pop through their past passenger information. Because I'm staff, it doesn't pull through mine. However, this will pull through any future cruise deposits that your guests have got. It will also pull through, sometimes we do extra discounts, you know, especially when we do a launch, they may be entitled, depending on how many times they've cruised with us before, to an extra discount. So please pop that in there. And then in your search box for your cruise, we're going to fill in this bottom left area here. The main thing to remember here is anything in red needs to be pre-filled for you to search. So I'm going to do 2 Caribbean sailings today. We're going to look at one with flights in date range and one with flights out of date range. So pray for me because it could be like live TV. We are going to use Heathrow as our airport. Don't forget, if you put LON in there and then have your air marked as no, it's going to give you a cruise only. Don't fall foul of that one. So you need to tick the yes box for your air. And then I'm going to search by date. So I'm going to look at the 7th of March 26. And we are going to look for a balcony cabin and an occupancy of 2. Now, if you usually search by date and zone, you'll know that this is where people usually get confused and go, oh my God, Princess is so hard to search by, because it brings up aft, forward, mid-aft and all that jazz, and you think, where are the cabins? I would strongly recommend that you search by category list at the bottom here. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so the sailing I'm looking for is Enchanted Princess. Oh, we've still got people arriving. Hello, people. Welcome. You've not missed much, so don't worry. So we're going to look at the Enchanted Princess on the 7th of March for 10 nights. So as you can see here, we've got the ship name at the top, the departure date, the itinerary, where it's going, voyage number, the routing that it's going to take. So we're going to be doing this one here. Need to toggle that button at the top, Fort Lauderdale to Fort Lauderdale, and then below this will give you a good idea of what staterooms are available. So you can see here W is waitlist, G is guaranteed, C, can't see any on there off the top of my head, but that would be closed, which means you're not going to get any more space. So that will give you a good idea of what's already available. So we're going to pop through onto that sailing by clicking save and continue. Please remember, in Polar you can't use your arrow keys back and forth. You've got to use these keys at the bottom. So we're going to go, if we need to go back, we're going to use the back key. But if we're going to go forward, we're going to click save and continue. Okay, so here we have our fare screen. So for some of you that have searched on the other search in the past, this might be a bit of a revelation, I'm not going to lie, but this is the easiest way to search for your staterooms. So what I would say to you is Polar generally will pull through Princess Plus included at the moment. So if you've been going in and thinking, oh, these look quite expensive, that's why they've got the Plus included in the price. So we're going to go to the bottom and we're going to click on fare comparisons. Sorry, my screen sharing may be relatively small for you at home, but if we click that, you can then compare side by side 2 fares. So we would do the standard and then the Premier or the Plus. You can only tick 2 side by side. And then we're going to save and continue. This is a little pop-up, just tells you what's included in Princess Plus. So don't forget, any of these are important notices and erratas, so you need to discuss these with your guests. Tick the box and save and continue again. So there we go. We've got side by side. This is Princess Plus side. This is standard price. So this is where, as salespeople, you may want to try and upsell to the Plus, because don't forget, it is commissionable to you guys. So if they book it before they travel, you're going to earn some cash on it. I'm just going to stick with standard for today because it's mainly all about flights, and that's why you are here. So I'm going to pick my cabin, I'm going to go for a balcony. because yeah, I'm a bit of a snob and I like my fresh air and to be able to have a breakfast on my balcony and have a bit of space. And then I'm going to click save and continue once we've chosen our cabin. And you can see at the top here, we've now got air included, Heathrow, yes. And the transfers are included. But on our costing page, as we scroll down, we've got our fare, we've got our taxes and fees, transfer packages. This is solely for the transfer, okay? As we are going long haul, and this is Caribbean from Fort Lauderdale, we need to add 1 night pre. So anything long haul, you need to add it. It's not automatically added, okay? Then we've got the gross fare at the bottom. So first up, we need to add our travel packages, which is our 1 night pre hotel. So we go to the bottom of the page and we've got travel packages here. I'm going to click that. So you can see there, it just says transfer, the ship, and then transfer. You know, if you're arriving on the same day, you're going to miss that sailing. So we need to add that 1 night in. So how are we going to do that? We need to click on the package list at the bottom. Okay, and this is going to tell you what we've got available. So you can see on the status side over here, gives you the hotel names and if they are available or if they are on wait list. Now, if they're on wait list, you and I know they're not guaranteed to be available at the end of the day. And if they're closed, you're not going to be able to request it. So for today's example, I'm going to request the Sonesta Fort Lauderdale Beach. It's showing available. I'm going to do it before, so 1 night pre. If you wanted to add post, it does say after, so you could add those two should you wish. So we're going to tick that box there, and then we're going to submit that. So that is going to add our hotel. Okay, so you can now see we've got transfer from airport to hotel. We've got the hotel 1 night pre, and then we've got transfer hotel to ship. Then we've got the sailing for 10 nights, and then the transfer ship back to the airport. So we've got all of our transfers, our 1 night pre. We're going to submit that and go back. And then, whoop, oh, there we go. I've gone back a little bit too far. There we go. Transfers and packages. So you can see that that's now gone up in price. So that's now got your hotel included. But we haven't got any air. There are no flights up here. So we then need to go to plain sailing. Okay. So we're going to open up a little pop-up and I'm hoping it works when I share my screen. Click plain sailing. Give me a thumbs up, Danny, that you can see my pop-up box. Or are you still lagging?
I'm still about 1 page behind.
Oh no!
So
give me a thumbs up, people, if you can see my pop-up box that says plain sailing.
You got some thumbs up, so you're all good.
Perfect.
Yeah, I've got it now.
Good stuff. Sometimes the pop-ups work, sometimes they don't. So I'll make this a little bit bigger for you. Okay, so flights. And you know, I'm not going to lie, it's not the easiest. It comes from a GDS system. It is all scheduled airfares in here. So it gives you your top picks at the top. And you can see there, it's giving us a 12-hour flight. And why is this? Because it's going into Fort Lauderdale. So we're going to go and change that to Miami. Because we're going from London, we know there is a direct flight from Miami and we're going to pop that in. If you're doing regionals, Manchester, Edinburgh, Birmingham, any of those, you are going to have to go via somewhere. We know that, out to the Caribbean, as it's all scheduled. So I'm going to go in and change that. We do this further down here. So you can see there are a lot of options. The best, if you're not used to this system, I would say come in, play with it. You can't break it. Literally, filter it. There are so many filters here. You can see they're flexible, restricted. I will talk about restricted air shortly. How many stops? If there was a direct route, it would have direct. All of your airlines. So if your guests have got, they're collecting air miles with somebody, you can filter it by airline. You can also filter it by departure time of day, should you wish. I'm actually going to go in and change it completely though. So I'm going to click here, start a new search. So this brings up both your guests, all the details. So again, you've got the opportunity there to change your airline and your stops. But I'm going to come down here and I'm going to change this Fort Lauderdale. and I'm going to do Miami, so we get some direct flights pulling through. The return is already Miami back to Heathrow, and your transfer will go from Miami Airport to your hotel. Do not worry. We only do hotels in Fort Lauderdale, so transfers will take your guests to wherever they need be. Now, it's saying arrive by midnight. We're hoping to get there a little bit earlier, but let's go and have a look at what we've got. So we're just going to click search. So the sailing was for the 7th of March. We've got one night pre, so we know we need a flight on the 6th. And we can see there, we've got a flight pulled out, American Airlines top pick. So let's have a look at what we've got there. So outbound on the 6th of March, 9:45, arrival at 2:40. Pretty good, I'd say. And then returning Miami Heathrow. That's a little bit late, 11 p.m. You know, sometimes we have no option. Sometimes there is a little bit of an earlier one. So we would just have a little flick through here and have a little look. So we might choose our outbound flight first and then come back in. So the outbound was the 6th at 9:45, which is this one here. I'm going to select flexible. Now, if there is only restricted available, for a restricted airfare, if that's what you're going to choose, now when we do EasyJet flights, they do fall under this umbrella as well. When you choose those, these flights do have to be paid in full within 45 minutes of you confirming your booking. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to make the booking. There are all sorts of pop-ups as you go along saying you must pay for this flight, you have to accept the terms and conditions, so it will warn you that you need to do that. Once you've made your booking, you will need to come back into the booking and press manage my booking, and at the very bottom of those little tabs there's a credit card payments tab. If you log on to that, you can then put your business credit card in there. If you don't do that within 45 minutes, your flight will be cancelled and your guest will arrive at the airport with no flight available, but you will get a notification as well. You will get an invoice into your inbox to say this flight has been cancelled. Okay. If you don't have a company credit card, you maybe need to go away and speak to your head offices about how you would do that, because anybody on statement, it won't automatically get paid. Okay. So for now, we are going to choose a flexible. I'm going to select this one, but I want to see if there's any better flight times home than that 11 p.m. one. And there we go. We've got a 6:10 p.m. So it's got the duration. It's got if it's going to stop. We've got fare restrictions. You can click on any of these tabs, sorry. And your baggage fees, should there be any, click on those and it will give you all of the details. For luggage, there is a really handy guide on OneSource. So please go on there and download that to your laptop, and it tells you which airlines we include luggage for and which you have to pay extra for. For instance, EasyJet, if you were doing a Med one with them, you would need to either get your reference and add it on direct with EasyJet, or I believe you can call our contact centre at the time of making the booking and they will book the EasyJet flight for you with luggage included. Okay, so for now, I am going to choose this flight. So we're going to click select. So this is the flight we're going with. So outbound on the 6th, 9:45, arrival at 2:40. So they're going to have a lovely evening out in Fort Lauderdale before boarding the ship on the 7th. And then on the return, the 17th of March, 6:10 p.m, arrival the following date. Now with plain sailing, if it's arriving on a different date, which on some long haul ones, you need to be super careful of your itinerary because it's on a GDS system, you do need to check the arrival times are before the ship sails, please, because Live GDS doesn't pull through the sailing time, it just pulls through the flights on that day. So please make sure you are checking your times. And then we are going to continue. We're going to accept our terms and conditions after going through them with your guest, obviously. So have a read of that with your guests because they will all be different. We're going to tick the box to accept it and we're going to click continue. Okay, so your flight has then been saved. Now we need to close down plain sailing and refresh our costing page because as you can see, it's still not here. So we're going to right click, click refresh, continue, take us to this page, which is the next page. So I'm just going to click the back key again. And as you can see now, we have our cruise, our airfare has dropped in, our transfers and hotel have dropped in, and this is your total cost. At the bottom here, it will show you all your commissions. I don't earn any, unfortunately, so it doesn't show them on my page, but it will also show you what deposits you need and all that jazz as well. So hopefully that's made it a little bit clearer for you all with plain sailing. It seems really easy when it's like this, doesn't it? And I know sometimes you might be back and forth, juggling around, but as long as at the end of it, you have got these costings on your page, you have your hotel, you have your flight, it is all booked in for you. I'm going to save and continue. I just want to go through a couple of other bits with you. We are going to have a look at our important notices. Tick the box. Again, save and continue. And then it takes you to your cabin choice of page here. So we're going to have a look at all the cabins and the deck plans and all that jazz. I'm just going to choose one because the next page is the names. Now, I'm not going to go through and book it, but had we put in the past passenger details, it would complete all of this information here for you if they've sailed with Princess before. If not, again, you need to fill in all the red parts. I would say to you, once you have confirmed the booking, please go back in and put in your guest's address, email address, phone number. In case of emergency, we need to contact them. Please don't put your agency details in because then you get all of the information and one day we may send out the medallions to the customers, and what you don't want is a pile of them landing on your desk. So please put the guest information in. It also helps in when we do certain offers, it's generated on a past passenger information, and if we've got their details in, they will automatically get the notification, hey, we're giving you 10% off this cruise, and then they can book that through you. So don't be frightened. We're not targeting them direct, but they need to have their info in to get all these discounts and access to it.